Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios, downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties. And thanks to Copiers Plus for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. Plus, like right out of the gate, I'm already flubbing lines. So thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com.
Did you think it was minus?
No. But you might have a minus in your books. And that big minus might be related to out-of-control print costs. We want to make it a plus.
Help yourself.
So contact them, copiers-plus.com. Typically, our Thursdays are like a Friday, but we got a full week, Joe, because tomorrow is the OG Golf Classic. Is that what we're calling it?
The OG Golf Classic.
Is that what we're calling it?
The inaugural.
Very excited about this. I know you're hype about this.
I am.
Have you ever run a golf tournament before?
I have not.
What are you learning in the process of running a golf tournament?
Every time I see somebody text me who's in the tournament, I'm like, no, please, no. Because every text has been, hey, man, sorry, I can't make it. Hey, man, I know I paid you. And no one wants their money back, but it's just like,
sure.
I've only got 3, or hey, can you help me? And it's like, yes, I can help you, but
let me
next
ask you
year
this.
Or in the spring when we do another one,
yeah,
I'm definitely taking today off before
the
day before.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Have we gotten so desperate that somebody's going to need me as a fourth?
No.
So I don't need to bring my clubs tomorrow.
Please don't.
Okay. I know you don't want me in your group.
No.
Because I know you want to win.
No. Is your friend Paul from over at SAS?
Yeah, Campion.
He was like, yeah, where's Ovies? And I'm
Paul knows better than that.
I was like, Paul,
come on.
I've got literally a professional playing with me. Like, do you think maybe I grip this a little too tight? I have a guy who's probably going to play in that tournament in 3 years. So
now I'm breaking a cardinal rule, because for the longest time I would always say that sports talk radio audience, they do not give a shit about what media golf tournament you played in.
Totally agree.
Yada.
Totally agree.
But I'm bringing this up to highlight the competitive nature, why this kind of spills over into sports talk radio oftentimes, or podcasts, because y'all are competitive. I'm competitive in a different sort of way.
Right.
You know I'm competitive. You know this about me.
I do.
It just emerges in different ways than, say, a traditional sports contest, right?
Unless it's the beer mile.
Well, yeah, and I took that one really, really seriously.
Yeah.
And we kicked Jonathan Rand out. But the reason why I bring this up is because you're giving me Jim Rutherford vibes.
Yeah, so that's fair. Although
Jim Rutherford, real quick context, Jim Rutherford was the general manager of the Carolina Hurricanes for a very, very long time, back when the Carolina Hurricanes would do media golf outings so you can get to know the players better.
Yeah, just so Jim could win.
But that's exactly what it was. And I know of people like Adam Gold and others who were kicked off his group because they didn't win. So I bring all this up because I feel like whatever group you have right now, the pressure's on to carry you.
Oh, to carry me?
They got to carry you.
Wow.
That's why you brought a professional freaking golfer to the SAS Championship Media Day.
I was strobing the ball on Monday. I was feeling, but no, I still can't putt. No, Jimmy would rig the setup to make sure that it was conducive for him to win.
Okay.
The format.
Gotcha.
Right. Now, if I were to do that, I would change. This is a Super Bowl format on Friday. So really anyone can win.
All right.
There are no strokes involved. The SAS tournament does have strokes, so that changes the equation some. I guarantee you, we have one hole. You are gonna like this. You're gonna be out at the 12th hole,
dude.
No, but you'll be out at the 12th hole. On the 12th hole, we're doing everyone tees off with their putter.
Mm-hmm.
And when my group comes through, Jackson can hit the ball 150 yards with his putter.
Okay.
That's
impressive.
It's actually kind of cool to see.
That's actually pretty impressive.
On the 14th hole, where Ken will be holding down the fort,
is
a 1 club challenge. So you have to play the entire hole with 1 club.
Oh, that'd be my 9-wood.
Yes, it would be. But now everyone in the group though would have to have a 9-wood.
Oh, so everybody
can't be.
Oh,
yeah, it can't be like,
see.
my 1 club is the driver.
So
my 1 club is the putter. No,
so
everyone in the group.
I'll bring my 13-wood.
There you go. Everyone in the group. So that's a par 5. You got to carry some traps.
Yeah.
You also have to carry water on the second shot.
Okay.
This is going to be a tough one for a lot of different people.
All right.
It's going to be enjoyable. We'll have closest to the pin right there on 11, where my parents' deck is. The green on the par 3, that's the closest to the pin. So that's going to be fun to watch. There's going to be a lot going on. We got a lot of prizes, including those UNC football tickets. I might as well knock out a little bit of business here, even though you didn't hit the housekeeping.
Yeah, I haven't hit the housekeeping.
Remember, if you want to get UNC football tickets, a lot of these games are sold out. So you come to us.
Yeah.
That's number one. We got you covered. Go to Go Heels. See if you can get tickets to the Campbell game. I think is still available.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the secondary market, their partner is SeatGeek. So check out SeatGeek because Carolina football, A, is having an unbelievable season, and B, they really do have a great home schedule.
You just want to give away tickets now?
Housekeeping.
And so, yeah, we'll do a little housekeeping, a little bonus housekeeping. All right, let me pull up the Instagram account, because what we had done was we basically were asking people, hey, go to OG Triangle Media on Instagram, go like the post, and then we will go into the likes and we will select winners. So we have 2 pairs of tickets to give away for the Syracuse game. Give me a number between 1 and 70.
70 likes?
Yeah.
I like that. Let's go with the biggest story in college football this year. Deion Sanders, 21.
21. All right. Hold on a second. Live podcasting, folks, as I count up on the things here. All right. Scott Flacco, you are like number 21 on this. So congratulations. You got a pair of tickets. What's the other one? Give me another number from 1 to 70.
1 through 70. So not 1, not 70, not
No.
anything obvious. Completely. No. Oh, right there. 2005. Let's go backwards. 52.
Okay.
52.
Hold on a second. Let me count.
Literally the number's right over your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Hold on. Okay. Kathleen, you will also get your number 52. You got a pair of tickets. So we'll be in I will get into the DMs and get their information because we just have to transfer the tickets.
Yeah, they're on my phone.
Okay.
So all I got to do is
tickets.
zap them to you.
Very, very cool. Very cool. One other note about the golf tournament before we move on to some other things. There's not going to be any messiness after this golf tournament. Like, there's not going to be people that were supposed to wear an OG hat, but they didn't wear an OG hat.
Like your dad's going to be there and say, yeah, my son should have been compensated for this tournament and he wasn't.
What's going on?
By the way, you
here?
are, so you're okay.
Well, yeah, I am getting compensated, but that's neither here nor there. I'll be the you know me, and I'm not going to bullshit the audience. People know that I don't necessarily keep up with golf on a week in, week out basis. And I know people were super excited about the Ryder Cup. All right. I wasn't getting up at 1:30 in the morning, although I do know some people that were waking up that early or stayed up that late to watch some of the Ryder Cup. But as the week has moved on and it's kind of like blended into my sports, looking at social media, reading stories, I did not realize, and I think it actually has to do with the fact that Alan Shipnuck's book about live golf is coming out, and he keeps dropping nuggets about it in the promotional run about just how fractured everything is behind the scenes. So yeah, Patrick Cantlay is not wearing a hat because he wants to get paid. Look, not everybody is.
That was the report.
That was the report. Not everybody's Michael Jordan, man. Only Michael Jordan can use the American flag to drape over a Reebok logo because he's a Nike guy. Like, you're not Michael, man. So
yeah,
come on.
I think fundamentally you look at the Ryder Cup, and this is a little bit
should they get paid for it?
This is a little bit like Little League World Series.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Okay.
The players in the Little League World Series are being exploited. They should be compensated because ESPN is making money off of them. So Xander Schauffele's dad, who has been kind of the mouthpiece of all of this, is basically saying the PGA of America is making a bunch of money off of this. And number one, they're not telling us how much. And number two, they're not saying where it goes. What he's suggesting is if you're going to give it to charity, which they're supposed to do,
yes,
at least be transparent about how much money you're making off of this and where that money is going.
Okay.
He's not saying that Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay need to be compensated because they don't get money elsewhere.
Right. It's like, how much money do you freaking need?
What he's saying is this entity is making money off of this and not being transparent about the money that they're making. That's not unlike what Phil Mickelson's argument was for the PGA Tour. Keep in mind, the PGA of America is different than the PGA Tour.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the PGA of America, that money trickles down to PGA Tour pros, and
you would hope
that's the goal, right? Isn't that the point?
You would hope.
I'm cool with being transparent because if the
know.
money is supposed to go to those who are supposed to truly grow the game and have these people at various country clubs and golf courses and everything else. Okay, cool. So I get that point. I get from that point of view.
Yeah.
But if it just comes down to, well, they should get compensated for this because, well, it's on TV. Like, come on, guys. Maybe it's the whole live golf thing that has left a sour taste in my mouth because it's how much money do you need?
Keep in mind, there's no such thing as a difference between LIV and PGA anymore.
Well, there is that too. It's all. And meanwhile, Brooks Koepka saying that like the PGA critics about LIV were country club kids, and then of course, and Alan Shipnuck's book, Tiger Woods apparently iced out Phil Mickelson at the Open Championship Champions dinner. He wasn't invited.
Sounds
and the
about
reason
right.
why is because Tiger Woods said, "I don't want that dude here. It's going to be awkward." So, man, I love mess. Who knew golf was so messy? People are about NBA Twitter and the messiness of NBA Twitter. Now golf's got a lock on that right now, man. I'm missing out. Maybe it'll bring me back in.
No, because their personalities are still such that, you're still talking about Tiger and Lefty and about a dinner that you're not even playing.
That's a valid point.
Right?
That is a valid point.
I do think the three best players for Europe, Jon Rahm, Rory McIlroy, and Victor Hovland, those are the three of the biggest stars in golf right now. So that part of it I thought was interesting. Hovland, to me, he is me. You're sitting here saying you literally are bringing a professional to a OG Golf Classic.
Yes.
Victor Hovland is out there just smiling away. He'll miss a putt. He'll duff a chip. He'll hole out from 80 yards. Just every time. I don't understand how people can have that demeanor. God bless him, man. I don't know how he does it. He is the complete and then of course when you have skill, you are the complete and total opposite of me.
That's fair. That's
Housekeeping.
It's a double dose of housekeeping today. You still have an opportunity to nominate us for the WRAL Voters Choice Awards.
Not while I'm drinking.
Not while
please.
you're drinking. It would really mean a lot if we win Best Podcast. That would mean a lot to me if we could do that with the WRAL Voters Choice Awards. So go ahead, go nominate us. I put the link out on our Twitter account. Joe won't do that, but I will. And also, we got some new podcasts out. New episode of Young Gun featuring me, apparently.
Love it.
I guess Dimitri got really desperate for a midweek walkthrough, and he's like, all right, man, can you do this? So we had a good conversation about the current state of the Panthers. New Law of the Wolf is out.
I was going to say, I think I have the yellow pad right here. It's the definitive yellow pad.
This is
even Dave Doran is keeping this one.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is
I
actually.
have not watched it yet. So
this is actually his stat.
All right.
This is one back in 16 and 17 he would talk about a lot.
Okay.
And there's a reason that he believes in this stat. So I have now crystallized it for him. And just as Tom O'Brien once played a clip of your interview with Everett Withers, Dave Doran could absolutely take this yellow pad into the locker room on Saturday and just say, see? You see what happens?
Will you get a game ball, though?
No. Because it's his stat.
Just like I'm still waiting for a game ball.
It's his idea. It's his stats. I'm just putting it on pen to paper for him.
Fair enough. And speaking of podcasts, our friends over at WUNC, North Carolina's public radio, has a new podcast called The Broadside. It's hosted by award-winning podcast producer Anissa Khalifa. And The Broadside explores news, history, pop culture stories rooted in the American South. And they take a single topic that is impacting the region and they kind of just blow it up. They zoom out and see how it reverberates across the country. For instance, like the word y'all. I mean, I did not grow up with y'all. You live here long enough, you start saying y'all, but y'all,
even I did,
has conquered the English.
Yeah.
So The Broadside is your source for Carolina news and culture stories that might not get the front page treatment, but definitely deserve a deeper look. Listen to new episodes of The Broadside every Thursday, wherever you get your podcasts. And big thanks to Mosquito Authority for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. Check them out, bugsbite.com. Mosquito Authority still getting the job done at my place, and Pest Authority can take care of those critters inside the house.
Hayes texted me yesterday, and I was like, no, I can't handle this. Like I said, when people text me and they're in the tournament, and I'm like, no, And it was just to say that his son was going to be playing with him.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, cannot handle any more changes. I cannot do it.
Fair enough. I want winners. All right, so we got another full weekend of college football. We're getting dangerously close to college football playoff time. At the end of the month, we'll get our first rankings.
Whoa!
Yeah, end of the month. We get are we on Halloween night?
Slow down. We are not getting dangerously close. I mean, I can probably tell you the teams who will be in it right now.
We'll get to that in a second, but I know it's Halloween night. Don't bother me, kids. I'm sitting down and I'm going to be getting mad at the first college football playoff rankings. It's a tradition unlike any other. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's give you some premature evaluations. All right, Joe, let's start with NC State versus Marshall. This game now has elevated into the interest level has elevated because we get to see MJ Morris with this team. And I like the way that Dave Doran set up this game.
Yep.
Admitting, like, look, he used the word spark. This offense is clearly not getting things done. There's a lot of reasons why the offense isn't getting things done. It's not all Brennan Armstrong. So, well, what's the first thing? What's the easiest thing you can change? Well, who your quarterback is. So the plan was the plan until it's no longer the plan. Now the plan is to have MJ Morris try to get things going. And like you said earlier this week, Marshall makes a lot of sense because it's not an ACC game. And Marshall is a good test going forward because Marshall's got some decent wins on the schedule. So
Marshall's 4-0. Marshall's the same team that last year went to Notre Dame and beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not a walkover. I think you make the move now, though, instead of letting Brennan start this game and maybe you're like, okay, if you make one mistake, we'll change it. No, I think
that's too much pressure.
I think you flip it now, and I think that is the right move. But the offensive line has to get better. That's also like job number one in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I also in this week's Law of the Wolf, actually, I talked a lot about how there's some parallels to the 2016 season and the quarterback situation. Then I also talked a lot about that particular stat. It's a stat for turnover margin.
Yeah.
And the stat is glaring what NC State's record is when they have a negative turnover margin. Glaring.
Over to North Carolina and Syracuse. Tar Heels coming off their open week. The further we get away from the Tar Heels 4-0 start, which, yes, you might have heard, first time they've been 4-0 since 1997. You look at who they've beaten so far, and the ways that they've won have been impressive. They've basically won in different ways.
Both have been impressive. The teams that they've beaten and the way that they've won the game.
Well, okay. Here's where I want to push back a little bit. I do like the way they've won games. They've won it in different ways, complementary football. Sometimes it's the defense stepping up, like in the game against South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's Drake May coming fully into form with that offense, which is what I expected to build. And that's actually my ultimate takeaway for this upcoming game against Syracuse. Decent enough defense. I think Syracuse, S&P Plus right now, defense is 29th. Offensively, I don't think Syracuse is going to scare this North Carolina defense. So really, it's about, can you get your offense on that upward trajectory against a better defensive test? Because the further we get away from South Carolina, they're 2-3. South Carolina's not a good squad. Minnesota is...
South Carolina fought against Georgia, allegedly the number one team in the country,
which we'll get to in a second. But I have not liked South Carolina. Minnesota's mid. Pitt, they're now moving on from the Phil Dracovic era. They can't move the ball, for heaven's sake. The only thing worse than Matt Canada right now is the Pitt Panthers offense, for heaven's sake. And obviously, you can't play a normal game in September with Appalachian State. So for me, it's just about building to what this group can be truly special of. And it's setting up for a real key matchup in the following week on October 14th when Miami comes to town.
Carolina has not been good after the open date under Mac Brown. Let's see if they can change that this week. This is a perfect setup for them.
Speaking of Georgia, I jotted this down. They're playing Kentucky. Both teams are undefeated.
Kentucky's defensive front is legit.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if the Wildcats pull this off,
where is the game?
I think it's at Georgia.
No, they're not winning that.
Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and pull this up here because I actually don't know where the game is being played, but I'm going to go ahead and double check on that one.
Kentucky just played Florida.
It's at Georgia.
Home, so
yeah, it's at Georgia. If Kentucky wins, let's say they pull this off. Is this a transitive for NC State?
Yeah, I mean, they got Demi Sumo, they got Devin Leary.
Right? It's transitive, right?
Sure. Sure.
This came up earlier in the week.
Demi Sumo don't even play for them. It's like,
I know.
What are we doing?
I know. This came up earlier in the week.
Got the one guy who could really help them right now. I'm telling you, there's so many parallels between NC State and the Carolina Panthers. It's bonkers.
Brownlow and I were texting about this, and she had said, like, Kentucky is what Dave Doran wants.
Yeah.
Right? And that
really good defensive front.
Great defensive front. They got a good offensive line.
Yeah. Run the football.
And Kentucky fans are just happy they're winning. You know?
Right.
To the point where, like,
right.
They even, like,
Dave's at the wrong school for that, though.
He is. But what I thought was funny about Stoops and how things kind of played out with him and John Calipari. Remember, They were
Right.
like a weird war of
It's a
words.
basketball school. Yeah, no shit. It's Kentucky.
We get that. We get that.
Mark Stoops didn't get it,
But
though.
clearly Calipari was kind of in his feels about that whole thing because Kentucky's getting a lot of run. Anyway, I do agree with that parallel, though, that both of them kind of are on similar tracks. And if Dave had that defensive line, it had that offensive line, then you're probably looking at NC State not having the same issues that you're having now. But that's at Georgia, so yeah, I'm absolutely not going to go with Kentucky on this one. But getting back to the college football playoff, Joe, because we're just a couple of weeks away from the first rankings. There's a lot of undefeated teams. Obviously, Kentucky and Georgia, that's going to knock one out. Georgia should win that game. Michigan, Texas, and Oklahoma. We got the shootout this upcoming weekend, which is going to be an SEC special. We're going to hear about all the SEC clashes between Texas and Oklahoma in the near future. So that's going to eliminate an undefeated team. You got Ohio State, Florida State, Penn State, Washington, which I know Dimitri in the college football bubble bath has said that Washington is probably your biggest college football playoff sleeper. Yep. Schedule is good enough to elevate them. And the Pac-12, by the way, there's the death rattle of the Pac-12 this year is hilarious.
Going out with a bang.
It's hilarious to me because
they will probably cannibalize themselves.
And that's my curiosity. Washington, Oregon, Southern Cal, Washington State, all undefeated. That's going to cannibalize themselves. And as I mentioned, North Carolina, Miami are going to be playing on the 14th, so that's going to eliminate somebody there. I do think that Miami, it's bizarre to me.
The one time we're not talking about them?
Isn't it weird? Is it because Florida State's back? Is it because Miami's burned people enough times that they don't necessarily believe it?
Yes.
I think it's that. I truly do think it. And I'm guilty of Miami fatigue too.
Their only win, though, was also Texas A&M. I mean, the Miami of the Big 12. The NC State of the Big 12. They're not even the Miami of the Big 12.
You mean the SEC
or whatever league they claim to be in?
You can't keep context. You can't keep track of who's
no. So the way I see it, the SEC champion, who's likely going to be Georgia, will be in the playoff.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Michigan to me is the best team in the country. I don't know why they're not ranked number one. I think they're going to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
Texas has the easiest road to the playoff. I think they're going to be in the playoff. And then that leaves one more spot. Will it be? I think Florida State has to go unbeaten to get the spot. Because the Pac-12, if Florida State loses a game or the ACC champion loses a game and the Pac-12 champion only has one loss, I think the Pac-12 champion, I know the Pac-12 champion is going to get in based on the strength of the Pac-12 this year. So if Florida State can run the table and then one of those teams emerges from the Pac-12 with only one loss, I think Florida State will get the edge over the Pac-12 team.
Every time we talk about college football, it's brought to you by Wings Over Raleigh, Wings Over Chapel Hill, Wings Over Greenville. They're open for lunch now in Raleigh. They have parking on Hillsborough Street, which is clutch. So if you're looking for a place to go and have a great meal and you're worried about parking, like, oh, I got to pedal park, you don't, because they have parking in the back.
Can I pat us on the back real quick?
Sure, why not?
Okay, while we're talking about Wings Over, because
of course,
I feel like our strength is figuring out what your strength is as a business.
Okay.
Right? Because we've been here and we know like what a huge bonus it is to have parking on Hillsborough Street.
Oh, yeah, we know this.
Okay.
Yeah, we know this.
So for Ryan and Wings Over Raleigh, we highlight the fact that if you go to wingsover.com, you order your food, you're not going to sit there and circle like I'm asking Josh and Anthony to come downtown today, right? Like they're both going to walk in here. You know what's going to happen. They're going to be like, I couldn't find somewhere to park or I had to walk 14 blocks. So our strength is to say, what does your business do really well? Or what is a highlight of your business? For Ryan Malley and Wings Over, I'm telling you, it's this parking. Also, the place that I've been to, the Wings Over in Greenville is A, right across from Dowdy Ficklin Stadium. And B, you talk about parking, buku parking, like unbelievable. So Ryan's got all these things down pat. We've got these things down pat. So last night, I got an email from our guy, Barry Woodard.
Yeah.
Hometown Realty. And I want you to keep in mind something here. I've never actually met Barry in person.
Okay.
Barry is someone who has enjoyed our careers and had reached out to us after we were moving on. We're moving on. And he said, hey, man, I want to support you guys. I said, cool.
We're moving on.
So he sends me this email. He's like, hey, man, give me some new talking points for the HTR ad today. I said, cool, man. You know, whatever works for you, you tell me what to do, and I'll make sure we get it out there. And he said, so he responds to me. He says, You both do a great job creating our ad content. So I'll leave the rest of it to you. We appreciate your endorsements.
Hey.
And here's the best part.
There we go.
Here's the best part.
Yeah.
We will continue our ads with you.
Let's go. You know what? Let me pull up. let me just go ahead and pull this up right now. MyHTR.com. Check them out. We're just doing the double
But
ad
that's
here.
what I'm saying. Like that's what we do. When you ask, what do these two jabronis know? What do they do? I'm telling you what we do. We know what you're good at.
Oh man. All right. Let's. Speaking of Brownlow, she's here. So let's just go ahead and talk to that Brownlow lady. Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
So, did you talk about the Panthers in therapy this week?
I actually did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we are right now.
It's that bad.
I mean, I had to bring it up because, like, I've given them up at times for self-care, as you know. And I think what it is, too, is, like, it's not as much I'm tired of watching the bad football, although obviously, yes. Okay. It's not even that it's all the same kind of bad football, which is also extremely frustrating.
Sure.
But it's like, it's just, what's the hope? Right? Like, that's where I don't see a way out.
No, they're doubling down. They're in the market for a number one wide receiver, Lauren.
No, me too.
They're going to, for the
That's
first
fine.
time in franchise
Yeah.
history, they're going to make a great second round pick. That's the hope.
Oh, see, I hate that because, like, they were so good. They have usually been so good in the first round, but yeah, you're right. Like, second has been a little bit of a miss at times.
Yeah, it has been a little bit
No,
dicey.
like, what's the hope? There is none. Like, how are you going to, what are you going to trade? Exactly.
Well, that would be my question, and it always comes back down to messaging for me. And
exactly.
they've made it more difficult on themselves. And I'll ask you this because I actually asked this of Dimitri, your podcast partner for Young Gun, which you can find wherever you get your podcasts, of course. Please, 5 stars only, positive vibes only.
Yes.
Do you think this is the insiders going out there because they're getting information to make David Tepper happy? Like, David, he wants to, like, people are checking out on us and we had the purple wave at Bank of America Stadium. No, I want the message out there that we are doubling down and get it out there. So and now it's out there. Ian Rappaport's talking about how they're in the market for a wide receiver. Bleacher Report had a report that was similar about they double down. They believe in Bryce Young.
You're right. This
Who's
stuff
the messaging
comes,
for?
Right. It comes from Tepper, obviously.
Because I don't think it's for fans. I think fans aren't stupid. And I know that's something that you've been railing
I don't know.
against
I
this
think he
week.
thinks so.
Right.
And that's where it gets annoying. It's like just in general. I'm not even just talking about the Carolina Panthers. There are so many sports teams and even just like entities beyond sports lately that have just been like telling you something that is so contrary to what you are actually seeing in front of you and expecting you to just accept it and believe it and like, oh, well, sure. Yeah. Well, I'll believe that y'all are in a playoff hunt and you're going to find it. What? I'm sorry. You want me to pretend I haven't watched the rest of the season? Like, okay.
Your hope would be CJ Stroud somehow isn't really the best quarterback.
Well, I mean, I don't hope that because, like,
here's the hope.
It's not his fault.
Here's the hope. Christian McCaffrey wins the Super Bowl with the 49ers.
Please don't do that. Oh, my God. Please.
That's not good.
For whom?
For him.
It is interesting to
For Christian,
I'm trying to
For
find
Christian,
hope.
yes.
No,
Okay.
I liked CMC.
Here's the problem.
I didn't like him that much that I want to see him win a Super Bowl.
But here's the issue with bringing up Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'd be happy for him.
I'd be happy for him
Yes.
too. But it also illustrates that the issues with the Carolina Panthers go beyond whoever the head coach might be. Because remember when they had Christian McCaffrey, what did we hear about? Not this Swiss Army knife that you had to utilize in the best ways possible. Is, well, we got to limit his touches. Well, meanwhile, you see what
And they never used him creatively. I mean, they had like maybe 1 or 2 seasons where they did a little bit, but not really.
Now you see what a Shanahan can do with a player like Christian McCaffrey, and you're going, so that's what you do with a guy.
That's
like
what coaching
that.
looks like.
Mike McDaniel. Like, what do you think Mike
we all knew
McDaniel
that.
would do with Christian McCaffrey? Right?
Yeah. Well, we already know.
Yeah, we do know. Like, a fast guy who can catch? What? Yeah, let's go. I want you to do your
But you practically invented putting fast people on defense.
the Eddie Landreth impression, which is just
my
on point. Just absolutely.
Oh, I love that.
R.I.P. Eddie
Yes,
Landreth.
R.I.P. One of the
So-
sweetest people ever.
So I think that's ultimately what the problem is. You see Christian McCaffrey thriving on the 49ers with Brock Purdy as the quarterback, and you go, oh, it's because they have a guy who can coach circles around the other team. Oh, that's what it is. And what I find interesting,
That's
Lauren,
it. Yeah, no, but you're right.
when I look at the YouTube comments, what I found interesting isn't the Panthers fans who are, arguing about Bryce Young and those types of things. It's actually the Indianapolis fans.
Oh
like
yeah,
the slipstream.
No, they're doing what they're doing now is like a Nebraska, like us with Nebraska people. and look, you know what?
Oh, with Reich.
Now I can say like the only thing that excited me about Reich is that he's an offensive mind, allegedly. So like I other than that, I was like, cool, they finally hired an offensive coach. Okay, great. I'll wait and see. Like, let's reserve judgment. Who knows? But like, I didn't think it would be great. I didn't think it would be bad. I had no idea. I just felt like it would be better than Rule. And that's in that way he is better than Rule. Like he doesn't. He looks like he's not completely out of his depth on his facial expressions.
Well, let's get you out of the Panthers depression. Let's talk about something positive, like 1997, the Tar Heels starting out 4-0.
Yeah.
And now they
started out 8-0 that year, I think.
How have you
before the Florida State game?
How have you matured from that time in 1997 where you got angry at a game day?
Oh no, that was later.
That was later?
After Mac left.
Oh, that's right. You got mad.
When I was a Carolina student. Yes.
That's right.
And they came back for game day, and I'm like, why is this happening? This is so stupid. Like, get out of here. You left. I don't like this. We shouldn't be playing. Like, I just had all these feelings about it, and but obviously I don't anymore.
The reason why I bring up the Tar Heels is that chances are they're going to be 5-0 after this weekend, and you got the Miami game coming up, and Miami and North Carolina have always played some interesting games.
Well, and then like Carolina has inexplicably completely owned them.
Yes, they have.
Like when you look at their record against all of their teams, like they beat them routinely, even when they're not supposed to half the time.
Shout out to Marquise Williams, who hit them with the upside down U.
He's not the only one. There've been so many.
Oh, there's been so many.
That was the most famous one. You're right. Yeah. But like there've been so many like upside down U's by UNC. It's wild how often they would beat them. Like it was actually starting to become funny how often they would beat them, because I'm like, it makes no sense.
I love the Marquise Williams upside down U so much that I remember I had done a Vine of it. Remember Vine?
Yes.
And I got a DMCA on Twitter years after the fact. Like I got flagged and like your account's locked. I'm like, okay, what happened? Which, by the way,
why don't they just ask you to take it down?
I got another locked account notification this week. I forgot to tell you this. I got locked out because
you changed the handle on YouTube.
No, it was on Twitter. I got a DMCA notice for an old Jonathan Rand acapella in the news from like the pandemic. It was How to Save a Strike. Remember How to Save a Strike? You don't remember that one?
I mean, I know.
I barely remembered it, but apparently got a takedown notice. And again, that was from 3 years ago. They're still out.
They're up on it. Yeah.
They're really, really up on it. So anyway, I had to unlock my account. So coming out of the open week, for me against Syracuse, we talked about this in premature evaluations, so we can kind of expand it out here. Syracuse is a middle-of-the-road ACC team, decent enough defense. For me, for North Carolina, it's not about their opponent. It's just how do they control games? Because they've got the quarterback.
Game control.
They got the quarterback.
Is that back?
It's back. It's totally back.
Oh, awesome.
They got the QB.
Yeah.
It looks like the offense is finally starting to gel. Defense has been good for the most part. And your favorite term, I like ground control or game control. You love complementary football.
I do love complementary football.
And that's what UNC has been doing.
And in all three phases. It's a coaching cliche. I know I just said it, but it's also something that needs to happen. See Carolina Panthers for an example. Like when your punt coverage units are bad, you're going to have bad field position. That's going to set your offense back, et cetera, et cetera. Like it all has to work in concert together. You know what I mean? I do believe in that.
Have you noticed that NC State and the Carolina Panthers are living parallel lives?
Yes, I have. Because I watch both of them on purpose every weekend.
But we were just talking about Kentucky, and I'm like, and not Devin Leary, but Demi Sumo is the one who actually NC State desperately needs.
They do.
Right now. And I thought they both made really smart decisions in the offseason. Like, hey, let's try to bring a new play caller in here, and This will really punch things up. And hey, let's get this new quarterback. You know,
Yeah, like Dave
this will be great.
Like, here's the thing. Like, this is why I stick up for Dave Doran a little bit, because like there are coaches that it seemed like actively hate offense. I don't think Dave is necessarily that guy. I think he prefers defense. But why go out and hire a guy? Like, why do all? I don't think he was intentionally sabotaging them. There are some coaches you wonder about that. Legit. Like, you're like, are you doing this on purpose?
Well, you brought this up on Monday.
Are you hiring your kid who has an incentive to get the 325 points?
There's no way I was not doing some of that on purpose. You can't convince me. I'm sorry. The numbers are too terrible.
Well, you brought it up on Monday, and I think it actually has kind of been a thread throughout the week. And going to MJ Morris, I went back and I looked at all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, thanks for that. Love that we did that, and then all like literally, I get home and they're they changed quarterbacks. I'm like, awesome.
You texted me right after the fact. You're like, I'm like, yeah, it happens from time to time.
I know it does happen.
But no, the point was I had gone through from 2019 when they had Ryan Finley. All right, it was
3 years.
They had 3 years of Ryan Finley. Whatever you feel about Ryan Finley, cool. But I know Joe has
just say
thoughts.
that right to Giglio. That's fine.
Joe has thoughts on Ryan Finley. But they had a quarterback.
I don't feel much of anything about him. So,
straight up.
For the
they
record.
had a QB.
Yeah.
But then from there, it's been this really weird kind of journey to get to where we are today. And I know that people love Devin Leary, but in the grand scheme of things, he had one full season. One. Okay.
Yeah, no, we agree on that.
And from there, it really has been a consistency of Dave trying to find the next guy. And as you pointed out, turnovers will ultimately be the thing that he's not going to be able to look past. So to your point, Dave's not, because this is where I get upset with fans.
Yeah.
They're acting as though Dave is actively sabotaging his own season to prove some sort of point. No, Dave is consistent with what he wants out of a quarterback to the point where he's willing to just run a guy and have him not throw it because he's afraid he might turn the ball over.
To be fair, I guess, like, you know, when you say stuff like, you know, basically like just deal with it, it's a win.
Yeah.
Like, I get why people might, be happy, it's a win, like, get over it that you don't like our offense.
Yeah.
You know, people aren't going to love that so much. And so it might make them think that. But no, that's just Dave being prickly. That's not Dave hating the offense. Like, he doesn't hate it.
That's 11 years of a relationship. It's like a shit. Just be happy we went out to dinner. You know?
Right.
That's what that is.
I emptied the dishwasher.
Right. Oh, you did bare minimum. Cool. Good for you.
Exactly.
And didn't get you a vacuum for your birthday. May or may not have happened. At some point.
Ooh, Joe.
No.
Oh, not you.
I got Kelly a Roomba once.
There you go.
The genesis of the Roomba
Well, did she ask for it, though?
No, the genesis of the Roomba. No, I'll tell you the genesis of the Roomba. Look, Lauren, you've known me long enough to know that sometimes I have some real just knuckle dragging dude moments.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sometimes.
And this was definitely one of those times where, again, bare minimum type thing of, you know, it would be nice if you would vacuum from time to time. So what did I do?
What?
I went and bought a Roomba.
Sir. That feels like an act of aggression, if we're being honest. Like, it would be nice if you could vacuum some. Here's your Roomba. You got it, honey. You take care of it. Happy birthday.
It's working smarter.
Oh, my God, dude.
Right.
Somebody else just in one decision by you.
It's working smarter, not harder. We love the Roomba.
I mean, I know.
And then we got
it's not a birthday present.
And then we got the mopping robot to follow it up.
Is there a mopping
robot? Was that for
robot?
Christmas?
Yeah,
or?
there's a mopping robot.
Like,
too.
Did not know that.
I can't with that. The mopping robot's like $500, I feel like.
Well, I had, quick story about that. Now, I'm not proud of this, but screw it. So the kids got to a point, and Alex will reach this point soon, if he hasn't hit that point already, where actual gifts don't matter anymore. Like, what do you want? Amazon gift cards.
Oh,
That's
no,
what
he's
they
not
wanted.
at that point.
So they went through a run of, we just want Amazon gift cards, which, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
So they would get hundreds of dollars of Amazon gift cards for Christmas and birthday, and then they would never spend it. So
sounds like me, actually.
So I gave it some time. And I'm like, and they just completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I said, well, shit, I got like $500 in gift cards.
Getting the Roomba.
Getting that mopping robot.
You stole your kid's money?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Does that make me a bad parent?
That was an interesting phrasing there.
I mean, a little bit.
What?
Like, the gifts weren't from you.
Yeah, but
like, it's one thing if the gift's from you and you're like, I'm gonna have to take some of this back.
I interpreted it as you bought them the Amazon gift cards.
No.
No,
and they just
like,
never
they got
used
them
them.
as
Never
gifts.
used them. They got them as gifts.
Oh, okay.
From like my parents, my aunt, my in-laws.
Okay.
So they didn't use them. It went by like a year, Lauren. It was a year.
Okay.
So clearly there was nothing on Amazon that
Did you
they
remind
wanted.
them at all?
Oh, I told them.
Oh, okay. Well,
And they were
fair
like,
enough.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, I told them. And
No, like, did you remind them before you spent their
Yes.
money?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They
fair
had
enough.
chances.
Okay.
They had
Then,
chances.
okay.
But when they're
yeah.
sitting there piled up collecting dust and they haven't even taken the little foil off the back so they can get the number,
This sounds like me, yeah.
well, then you know what? I'm getting a damn mopping robot.
That's why I never asked for gift cards, because
Work-
I never remember to put them like into the Amazon system.
And if they had a problem with it, I could hit them up with, well, if the mopping robot's not going to do it, you guys could do it.
There you go.
Oh,
Sell
okay,
it back
yeah,
and get them their money back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, well, the mopping robot's actually a really, really good idea. Anyway, how did we get here? I totally forgot.
Buying your wife a Roomba for her birthday?
Oh, that's right, because I said, shit, just be happy we went out to dinner or something like that. That's Dave energy with the shit, just be happy we won.
Well, and even with the kids, it's like, just be happy you don't have to mop.
Right.
I took your money, but be
Feels like
happy
a
you
win.
don't have to mop.
It does feel like a win to me. All right, we'll get out of here on this. Can Duke, without Riley Leonard, still stay in contention for the ACC for a couple weeks here? We don't know what the actual timetable is for Riley Leonard and
Right.
Duke, but I feel
Well, it's
like
just 1 week. That's a high ankle sprain, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
who are we talking about again?
Right. Well, that's just what the Panthers were saying, so not sure.
There's that,
No,
or
I'm
maybe
kidding.
Riley Leonard
Yeah.
was listening to the sounds of dolphin sex, like Aaron Rodgers, as he rehabs his torn Achilles.
Why is he so thirsty?
It's very
I
thirsty.
just, oh my God.
You knew he was showing up for the Taylor Swift game.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to be seen.
No, I know.
I'm Duke. I feel not bad for Duke,
No, I do.
but Duke had this run up with game day. All right.
I feel bad for them.
It's not bad is not the right word, right phrase to use.
No.
Duke had a real opportunity, all things considered,
Right.
to not only beat Notre Dame, and let's say they lose Notre Dame in heartbreaking fashion without the Riley Leonard injury. You could use
still-
that.
yeah.
You could use it as a bouncing off point of like,
Yes.
look, man, we took these guys to the brink. We know we can compete with anybody.
That's the thing.
you're-
And they didn't even play their best game,
Right.
and they're still in it.
You're coming
They
off
should have
your
won.
open week. Let's
Right.
double down. It's the Riley Leonard injury that
That's
makes me go,
what-
damn it, because that Duke could have had that group. Based on what we've seen out of the ACC so
Yes,
far,
yes.
there's nobody in the ACC to me that they can't beat.
For sure.
So that's especially with the way they've been playing defensively. So that's
I think Duke's problem is Louisville has the easiest schedule
Oh
I've
my-
ever seen.
Wow.
did you
They're
see
not
where-
even good.
You see where the
Wow.
odds for the ACC continue to go up because of the schedule?
They're not
Well,
even
I
good.
remember when I saw their over under at 8.5, and I was like,
Started
what?
at 7.5.
it's just
It's
like,
probably the type of team they are, but their schedule is a
no, I
cake.
know. I saw.
Louisville does not play Clemson, Florida State, or UNC.
They play Miami?
They do play Miami on November 18th, but they've got Duke on October 28th. And by that point, maybe
I bet
Riley
he comes
Leonard's
back.
back.
And I think that's like the big one to circle, right? Because like obviously if Duke wants to stay in contention, it'll have to beat a team that, you know, will also be at the top of the standings by
Yeah.
virtue of nothing other than
Duke's path
its
is just
schedule.
extremely
It's tough.
difficult
Yes.
compared to Carolina's, compared
Yes.
to
Yeah.
Louisville.
This is why I was skeptical of Duke coming into the year. It wasn't
Sure.
because I didn't believe in Elko and them. It's because I looked at the schedule and was like, my God.
Oh, we talked about it in July that
Yeah.
Duke could theoretically have a worse record than last
Yes.
year and yet still have a good
I
season.
love that they get a week off before they play State. I think
Yes.
I think they'll be fired up to play State. I think players
Isn't that
react.
the blood feud?
It is. Players react differently than we do, or coaches do, or fans do. Like players just play. Like they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're not going to be like, oh man, we don't have Raleigh. They have Henry Ballin, you know, good looking kid.
Sure.
So I know we've only seen him really against Lafayette, but
Right.
you're going to put him in there. It's not like you're going to run all different stuff. It's not like you're going to reinvent the wheel with him. And their defense is what I've been most impressed with. The way that they
Yes.
play, they're
100%.
super aggressive. It's impressive to watch.
I've never seen a Duke defense like this.
No.
I don't remember
Athletic
one. Do
up
you?
front too,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
crazy athletic up front.
All right, Brownlow, we'll see you next Thursday.
All right.
Always enjoy hanging out with Lauren. You never know where the conversations with Brownlow are going to go, man.
That's fair.
Like me admitting, you know, my terrible husband status with Roomba purchase. I mean, it happens sometimes. Anytime we talk about the Panthers, we think Graffiti. Go check them out downtown Cary. I'm actually headed to downtown Cary today to go hang out with Wayne and Adam for 919 Vice. Graffiti is typically where we do the podcast from, and it's just a great vibe. They got a bunch of TVs. They'll have all the games on Sunday. But more importantly, they have a bourbon selection that is off the charts. And what's even better than the bourbon selection are the bourbon prices. Break-even night is on Tuesday. They have a featured bottle. It's at cost. So you can get an incredible bottle of bourbon for $3 for a 1-ounce pour. You can also take advantage of their multiple bourbon specials on Sunday. And I'm joking, maybe not, but you might need to be sipping on something good to watch the Panthers and make it worth it. I'm just saying.
Palatable. Yes.
I'm just saying. Also, big thanks to Whitaker and Hamer for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. What are you laughing about?
Needed Josh's services yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Did we get a leak? Oh,
slight traffic issue. Slight.
What is it about you
Slight.
and car stuff, man?
It's not good, man.
Are you cursed?
Potentially.
So you had a moving violation yesterday?
I did.
Is that what happened?
It did.
Okay.
So I had to reach out. Whitaker and Hamer, WH.lawyer. Be like me. Get in legal trouble. Call Josh Whitaker.
You're going to get a result?
Joe Hamer. Hey, you're going to get good results. Yes.
All right, good. I'm glad you're going to get good results.
I have confidence.
That is important. That is important.
We're moving on.
Double shot of rant for you. And we're going to be moving all of our things over to the golf course tomorrow. And a big help for the OG Golf Classic is Rocco over at Tavern on the Green. He joins us on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. Rocco, what's going on, man?
How we doing, guys? How we doing?
We're good. So what do we got? What do we got served up for Friday?
Man, well, we're gonna give you one of Raleigh's best burgers.
Let's go.
You know, some hot dogs, good times.
Okay. And,
Yeah.
and I see the sign behind you. Got like a fainting goat sign behind
Yeah,
you.
we got a pretty good selection up here. You can. One of my girls is very artistic. Let's see if I can do that. How's that? You know that?
Those are all the things you guys serve. I see
Yeah,
a White Street Kolsch. I see some local beer on there. I like that.
We are definitely a locals bar. 103 beer options, including some on tap.
Wait, 103?
Yeah, we're the only golf course with that many in Raleigh.
Dang,
Well,
dude.
I think in North Carolina probably.
All
You know, our bourbon selection will fight with anybody.
We're gonna have to get you and Graffiti to fight each other then.
Well, you know, I'm not trying to have any competition.
Oh, maybe we'll
It's
do
Garner. He's in Garner.
That's true. It's a totally
Yeah.
different thing.
No,
That's on
totally
corner.
different demographic, different area. You know,
So I go over to the Eagle Ridge yesterday. I'm talking to Rocco, and I was like, "Yeah, man, because we'll have drink tickets."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yeah, man, I just need beer flavored beer." He's like, "No, you could have any beer that you want. 103 and on tap."
yeah,
I was
man.
like, "Man, Rock, wait, you know me. I'm only gonna have the Coors Light, or my dad might have a Yingling." They're like,
Right.
"You're busting out all the fancy stuff for us tomorrow."
We're trying to, man. We want to make you guys look better than you are.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
How's that?
Behind the scenes, Joe knows my frustrations with getting lighting right, and it actually just might be us.
Right?
You know, it has nothing to do with the lighting. The lighting's
It's
fine.
not an angle. It's not an angle. It's
it's
just you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, you know, we've got the. How do you get rid of this? You don't.
No, I want the gray.
No,
No, I want
exactly.
the gray gives me, it distracts from the top of my head, number one,
Yeah.
and it gives me a little bit of distinction with the gray.
Exactly.
Okay.
I love it. I love mine. I take pride in it.
Now, I don't want you to give away Tavern on the Green secrets too much, but what makes the burger the best burger?
Farm raised beef, you know, straight from the farm.
Mm-hmm.
No additives. We season it ourselves here. You know, we take pride. I take pride in what we do here for it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, our cattle is raised locally for our hamburgers, and they are, I mean, one of the best in Raleigh.
Now, are you a griddle guy to make that thing
No,
like,
see, now
like
he's-
cooking the fat, or
No, see, he's a problem solver.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he had to redo his kitchen last summer, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. Had to redo the floor.
He brought in a grill, like a Mac Daddy grill that will be out there
Yeah.
Friday.
All
Yeah.
right.
And I don't know if Rock's going to be on the grill.
I will be.
Rock will be on the grill himself.
All right.
Yeah.
So where we check in, right when we walk in, we'll have the table set up. We'll have the grill out there.
Yeah.
It's a day.
It's gonna be like an outdoor event for you guys. You know,
Yeah.
where the golfers come up, they register, they get their food, they can come inside and eat, hang out, drink beer, do whatever they want, go to the driving range. You know, they'll have it all available to them.
Rocco doesn't
We're
even
looking
mind.
forward to it.
Rocco doesn't even mind on the 18th hole when I pull a stray 3-wood and it hits the
Somebody's got to hit the building.
hits the building.
Somebody's got to hit the building.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate all the help for this OG.
We're looking forward to having you guys tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. Even spectators need to come out and hang out with us. Just check it out.
Well, that's gonna be me, man. I'm just there to eat and drink.
Hey, come on. We got to.
Giglio wants me to glad hand. So.
The view from the back porch is worth $1 million, and you'll be comfortable, enjoying yourself, heckling those on 18.
I'm down for it, man. I'm down for
we'll
it.
be doing it together. It'll be fun.
Yeah,
Rocco,
Rock, we appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you,
Couldn't do
guys.
this tomorrow without you.
Yeah,
I have an envelope with your name on it too, man.
Hey, man,
that's
that's all
serious
good.
you are right now.
Amy will like that when you get here.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I do need to come by after and pick up the tickets. I forgot to pick up the drink tickets yesterday.
That's fine. I'll have them ready for you. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
All
Appreciate
right.
you. See you
Rocco,
tomorrow.
thanks, man. Big thanks to Breeze Through for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. Go check them out across the triangle. It's peak tailgating season. Maybe you're headed to Chapel Hill for the Syracuse, North Carolina game. There's one just outside Chapel Hill. Maybe you're going to Carter Finley Stadium. A rare 2 o'clock kickoff thanks to the C-Dub with NC State and Marshall. Get your coffee early.
Seriously, do you know this is the best deal in the entire triangle?
Yeah.
It's $20, lifetime free refills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here spending $4 for a freaking Topo Chico, dude.
Yeah.
One single. It's gone. Okay.
You had a day yesterday.
I'm telling you.
You really had a day
So go
yesterday.
get the Breeze Through. $20, lifetime refills. You cannot get a single better deal than that.
All right. And speaking of great deals, they do have deals at Butcher's Market. You can
Look
go
at me with all the tumblers.
you have all the time, man. We have like tumbler overload here. And speaking of tailgating, if you need things like the charcoal, you need the wood to smoke, you want to get the seasoning. You might not have Rocco's seasoning, but you're looking for a seasoning. They've got all that stuff there at Butcher's Market. They even have fresh vegetables too that you can throw on the grill to add to what you're doing.
Listen, tomorrow for the golf tournament, Butcher's Market's going to be out there too. They're going to have some samples. Sierra Nevada, Butcher's Market, Joe Ovies, between the 11th and 12th holes.
Very excited.
So Kenneth over at Butcher's Market. We're also, some of the prizes we have are for gift cards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already had one group. Shout out to Harrison. He goes, "Hey man, and cool. You got tickets to the Carolina Campbell game. Cool. You got the Carolina Hurricanes hats that we picked up this week. So those look cool." Because my group wants to win the Butcher's Market gift cards. That's what my group wants.
I love it.
I said, "You got it, man.
I
You
love
win, they're yours."
I love that. All right, so Joe, you've been on this. You've been on this kick the last couple of years about where everything is going and how players ultimately are going to be the conduit to fans and how we talk about sports, and then we're kind of left not reacting, but just kind of playing off whatever they're doing. And it's funny. Earlier this week, I mentioned how the Kelce brothers are really taking over the NFL. Yes, Taylor Swift is on TV all the time. I get all that stuff. But the Mannings were typically viewed as the football brothers that get all the attention and people want to know what's going on. But that's more traditional. They're on TV. The Kelce brothers have tapped into something else, and where we are today with social media, podcasts, and everything else. And New Heights has suddenly become like a must listen, must watch situation. And they're okay, perfectly okay.
This is an inception moment.
It really is. So here's what's funny about this. There's been a lot of conversation about is the Taylor Swift coverage in the NFL right now too much? And of course, I laughed saying, no, there's no such thing. They're going to ride this wave just like the NFL has ridden the wave of other pop culture phenomenons. This idea that I'm going to disagree with something that the Kelce brothers say in this clip in a second, but they address it because TravisKelce is part of this, right?
Yeah.
He's part of this because he's dating Taylor Swift. And I thought this was an interesting conversation between the two.
Is the NFL overdoing it? What is your honest opinion?
I think everybody's just like overwhelmed.
Your feelings for Taylor. What is your honest opinion on how the NFL is treating celebrities at games?
I think it's fun when they show who all is at the game. I think it brings a little bit more to the atmosphere, brings a little bit more to what you're watching. But at the same time, I think
they're overdoing it.
They're overdoing it a little bit. for sure,
Right.
especially my situation. I think they're just trying to have fun with it.
I just think the NFL is not used to celebrities coming to the games. Like basketball has it figured out. They're all courtside. They're sitting there. They show them once or twice, but they get back to the game. The NFL is like, oh, look at all these A-list celebrities in the game. Keep showing them, show them. Dude, listen, you show them once, let them know they're there. Maybe after a touchdown, you get a little clip, but you can't be overboard with it.
Because you never know. You get caught, just throwing a big old cheeseburger in and you look like an idiot.
Caught picking a nose.
What?
Nothing. Well, it was a lot. Not only was it a lot of the celebrities, but dude, how many commercials have you done? Every commercial break, it was about 7 commercials with TravisKelce.
Yeah, we racked it up in the offseason. It was a busy offseason.
There you go. There's TravisKelce and Jason Kelce on New Heights talking about that stuff. One real quick point. I'll disagree with Jason Kelce's point about celebrities at NFL games, that the NFL doesn't know what to do with celebrities at the game. No. There's always been camera cuts to the box if somebody famous is there. Let's not forget that we lived in a world where they were putting, I can't remember her name, Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo. They would constantly go to shots at the box when they were dating. So this idea that the NFL doesn't know what to do with celebrities, that is incorrect. The NBA might have a lock on where you see the celebrities constantly, because the game action will show the celebrities literally there on the court. And I'll grant you that. You do have to literally cut away to show those celebs at NFL games. But yeah, this is not a new phenomenon. It just so happens to be that one of the top tier recognizable NFL players is dating the number 1 pop star in the country. So yes, this is what you're going to get with these types of conversations. And I have zero problem with it because the numbers keep going up.
This ties into my larger point, though. There's no such thing as the media anymore.
Yeah, true.
The media does no longer exist. I was on this program yesterday. I told you I can't name the newscasters, the top anchors for ABC, NBC, and CBS. I'm not alone. At 48 years old.
It finally came to me. Lester Holt. I now know 2. David Muir, Lester Holt. I know them. Let's go.
Never mind. Good luck having one of our kids come up with a name of a national. They might know who Adam Schefter is, but what does Adam Schefter really do? Is that media? I don't think so.
No, Schefter's running PR now. There actually was an interesting Ben Strauss story. Ben Strauss of the Washington Post wrote a pretty interesting story about the war between Adrian Wojnarowski and Shams Charania.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because remember, this is very Star Wars.
His mentor, yeah.
Like, I got the Darth Vader pumpkin behind me. Woj is the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shams is Darth Vader. And Shams broke off and started doing his own thing at the Athletic. And what Strauss highlights is, to what your point with Adam Schefter, these guys are essentially tamper-proof conduits to get messages out, right? When a team wants a player, they can't actively go and do it because it's tampering. But we know the loophole. We can get Adrian Wojnarowski to do the work for us to get those messages out. Shams is in the same boat. And Adam Schefter is clearly doing the same thing for football agents to get whatever message
GMs,
they need,
owners,
and GMs
whoever.
to kind of. I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this recently. Somebody I'm not going to name the person, but they're in the NFL, they're in this info business and stuff like that. And once you get to that level, there's a weird, delicate balance that you have to play, and that you don't want to ruin your sources who give you good information. Now, there's the complete opposite end of the spectrum, like what you see with Adrian Wojnarowski. You can see who he's carrying water for. And Shams, you can see who he's carrying water for. And the same thing with Adam Schefter, which is why I've never really went out of my way to try to be an insider status. I know you've dealt with this because you've been a beat writer.
Sure.
You're around the building all the time. And I've known this with other people that I've worked with, where they get information, they get their sources, and when they want to give an honest opinion on something, those sources get mad. They get mad at you for being not bullshitting the audience, right? So I've never really, they're not my friends, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's why I've never gotten close to a coach. I've never gotten close to a general manager. I've never gotten close to a front office person, because ultimately at the end of the day, they want to use you as a conduit to get their message across.
I think independent of that, though, there's this idea that the way that the media, which was newspapers and television, used to work was you went to a game, you covered the game, you talked to the players after the game, and that's how the players would get their message out.
Sure.
Okay. The schools in the last 10 to 20 years have turned that into only the schools get to decide what gets out, and it's their message that gets out, whether it's a good story or whether it's a a touching story, whether it's one of these real life tearjerker stories, the schools control that now. They won't give that to a writer.
Yeah.
Okay. They won't give that to a television person to go highlight on their media group because they have their own thing. The evolution to that now is the players aren't able to basically speak their mind in college unless you're Shedeur Sanders.
Sure.
Okay. So for the most part, once you become a professional, now it's like, okay, well, there were guys, and I'll use Luke as an example when he was covering the Canes. Like Jim Rutherford didn't like Luke for a long time.
No.
So if you had to make a choice, were you going to talk to Luke? You'd be seen as somebody who was siding with Luke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there were players who didn't like Jimmy, so those players would talk to Luke, right? So, but that was how you got your message out.
Mm-hmm.
There was a newspaper, there was a story, you were in the headlines, you were written about, your voice was heard. Now, these teams, while they have availability, these players are sitting here going, who did you credential? I don't know who this person is, right? So you see Aaron Rodgers chooses Pat McAfee, a former player, who has a platform. And I will tell you, I believe the number one reason that Pat McAfee is the number one and likely the highest paid, maybe Stephen A is getting a little bit more than him.
Stephen A is still the highest paid.
And then he's number two
at
ESPN because he talks to people.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A actually doesn't talk to people anymore. He has actual interviews. Pat McAfee talks to the players, talks to the coaches, and interviews them and has them on his show or had them on his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is the most interesting stuff that he does. Not his antics. I do enjoy his personality, but he has conversations.
Not if you ask Washington State fans these days.
Right. But he has conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think when the problem where ESPN I think went wrong was they only wanted to talk to Adam Schefter. They only wanted to talk to Adrian Wojnarowski. They stopped wanting to talk to the players.
Yeah.
So what the Kelces are doing, which by the way, hi Kelces, thank you. You're doing the same thing that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going out, you're doing your own thing and putting your own message out because you don't need the media.
No.
Well, in our case, it's, well, we don't have a company to support us. Well, in their case, it's, we don't want to be filtered through your message. We want to go directly and make our own podcast and make our own message.
Mm-hmm.
So again, hi Kelces. Hey, pointing Spider-Man, you and us doing the same thing. But I think you'll see players who are interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Continue to do that, whether that's on Instagram, as we've seen with Cam Newton before, whether that's on their own podcast, whether it's on something like Twitter. You are now in a situation where and we can tie this into the Major League Baseball conversation that we'll have here. There is no such thing as the media anymore.
No,
it doesn't exist. So you don't need media allies. You need messaging. And the more and more we see this, the problems with NC State, the problems with the Carolina Panthers, these are all related to messaging problems.
Yes.
The Kelces right now have this thing right here.
They do.
Right here. They don't have a messaging problem because they figured out how to deliver the message in the way that they want it to deliver it, and it's packaged beautifully. And you have two brothers, as you see there, with Jason kind of steering the ship, right? And Travis being
he's the character.
The character.
He's the character.
That's really good stuff.
It is. Well, speak to your point about athletes wanting to talk to other athletes, and you can do this now because.
Well, I think Pat has done it.
Pat, here's the thing, like Cam Newton, right? Cam Newton's now, it's pretty obvious that Cam Newton's never coming back into the NFL.
Right.
His career is over. So Cam has started to shift over to what the Kelce brothers are doing. Now, Cam's always dabbled in this. Remember, Cam had his YouTube show, which I will forever love that YouTube show because his dad once put his own kid on blast in the middle of a conversation about, I was like, I don't want to be a distraction. And Cecil's like, now Cam, come on now. But Cam's doing this kind of stuff too. And he's getting athletes to talk about things openly that you and I could never do.
Theo Pinson's doing a great job with that too.
Yeah, he is. So here's from Cam Newton on his, I guess he did a recent show with Tyreek Hill and, talking about the cheetah and what the cheetah wants to do after the fact. And this exchange is just amazing. And I've never felt more relatable to Cam Newton in my life.
You retire, you going to be all over, huh? You'll be on TV, everything. Huh?
Nah, when I retire, bro, I really want to be a porn star though, bro. Like, dead serious.
I don't want to be no porn star. God blessed me with a lot of things, but he ain't blessed me with no hammer. I got 2 inches of straight venom.
Okay, no.
Oh, no.
Nah, that's a
Hold on. You said, hold on.
Had I been given a hammer, I wouldn't be wearing my pants right now. I mean, I got a lot of confidence, dog. And God knew what he was doing when he made me. He said, no, we're going to give him all that confidence. We're going to give him all that swag. We're going to give him all that height, body composition, all that. But whoa. Make it average. much. And I'm not mad at Tyreek Hill for saying what he wanted to do. What I really wanted him to say is who would be his top 3 castmates for his next career before I die.
He called it 2 inches of venom.
I was not prepared for that.
No, I know. I kept that from you. I wanted to hear that in real time as he talks about, like, yeah, God just went, let's make that average.
I'm also kind of caught up on Tyreek Hill being like, that's what I wanted. Like, you have all this money.
Hey, man, we all have our hopes and dreams.
Yeah, that's fair.
One other clip is social media continues to do everything, shape everything. Shout out to Webb Wellman. Webb helps with a lot of our social media stuff, a lot of the videos that go beyond just the clips. Like, for instance, we'll be putting out that PNC Arena putt-putt video. Webb put that together.
He's a master. He's unbelievable.
When Giglio lost to Sebastian Aho and Mulkey, Webb put that together. So we thank Webb for all his work. But I guess we got a little triangle trio here.
Yeah, it was media day with the Brooklyn Nets. So you got Day'Ron Sharpe
on the left,
Carolina.
number 20.
Dennis Smith Jr. in the middle.
Yeah.
Wolfpack in the house.
Yep.
And then Harry Giles.
I forgot about Harry Giles at Duke, man. Completely forgot about him. Number 14 there on the right. And anyway, this exchange happened.
The only one that got something you can throw up. Ask them what they do. How you throw up UNC and Duke?
Did you see that he was the first one to say something, right? He know NC State the worst. I ain't even got to say nothing.
They beat y'all.
Who?
NC State.
I beat y'all too. We played NC State. I had 17-15. I beat Carolina twice.
See, I can hold up Wolfpack. What they can hold up? They can't hold up nothing.
Look, ew. That's what it was. Ew.
That's pretty good.
I mean, look, let's be real. Dennis Smith Jr. put up a hell of a game that never counted at Cameron Indoor Stadium. But what was the total point that year?
Not good.
I think they got beat by a combined 75 points.
I saw this, and I literally texted Orlando earlier this morning, and I said, see, the thing is, I really want to like Dennis. I really do. He does stuff like this, and I'm like, okay, I like this. Because that is what, when you get a Duke, a Carolina, and a State person together, yeah, you're going to sit there and talk shit to each other.
It's great.
Love it.
I absolutely love that. We love saving you money, and that's why we send you to Matt Davis. InsureGarner.com. Check him out online at the OGinsurance.com as well, or you can call him directly at 919-779-8277.
Smart people.
Do we have tumblers for that too? Or we give them all away?
We gave away all of our tumblers. We have a koozie.
There we go.
Smart people do smart things. Matt Davis put up a billboard on 70 there in Garner that said, hey, what if you want to talk to a real person? Well, do what Troy did. Call 919-779-8277. Troy is now saving over 40%. And also Troy's mom is with State Farm and Matt Davis now too. So
yeah,
look, man, just keep spreading the word and Matt Davis is going to hook you up.
Also, big thanks to Home Field Apparel. Check them out online, homefieldapparel.com. Use the promo code OG23 like my brother did, because he got by another sick design from Home Field Apparel on an NC State sweatshirt. So he used...
Look at you.
I'm learning.
So much progress.
So he went ahead and he bought that. He used the promo code OG23. They got an app. They got a great community with Home Field, and they got great stuff dropping all the time, including a new Campbell shirt that's coming out here soon. I think it's dropping tomorrow. I got to double check on that. But you Campbell folks who want some retro gear, Home Field's got you. And I'm really excited about that dropping relatively soon.
Of that Collins Avenue.
I know.
So good.
I know. I did it.
They need to release that as a single.
I used the larger version, the longer version, to put the sick Picks and Pizza intro together.
The giraffe.
Actually, for those who are wondering what's the drop, this is what the outro is. That hits, right?
So good.
It absolutely hits. Oakwood Pizza Box hits every single time.
Now he's got sesame too.
Tell me about the
Anthony's
sesame again.
Fire.
Tell me about the sesame again.
Sesame on the crust.
Yeah, we tried that
on the square, man. It's his middle daughter's favorite item.
I love that.
So he's added it to the menu.
I love it because I know we had it at OG Pizza Night, and I thought it really did add.
We were a trial
run.
We were trial runs.
I love that. I absolutely love that. All right, so instead of traditional Hey Joe questions, let's get into some Major League Baseball to Raleigh conversation. Which,
just not to derail you for a second here.
Yeah, what?
I have my email open on like I yell at you for.
Yeah.
The The email says, get $50,000 in burial coverage for $1. Like, what is happening here?
Nah, like I said,
what did I do?
I think there was a famous tweet. It's like, a casket costs how much? Bury me loose.
Yeah,
just bury me loose, man. Bury
dig a hole in the backyard. $50,000. What is going on?
So Tom Dundon.
What have I done?
Tom Dundon.
Where did I go wrong, Joe?
Dundon tells Dave Glenn this week that he wants to
bring a baseball.
He wants to bring a baseball.
Or be
team
involved
here.
in the baseball. Okay.
And from that initial news to where we are today, I feel like Tom Dundon's kind of not walked it back, but added more context to what exactly he's trying to do. He's interested in it. Makes total sense. As he's gotten to know the area.
Yeah, he could go Vanderbilt on this thing and just vertically integrate the whole market.
He really could.
Yeah.
And he sees the potential of this market. As he said to Dave, I've got the lease agreement knocked out. We're going to work on that development. How much more can we go? Luke and I were actually talking about this earlier in the week, and Luke said, I got the location wrong, or the potential location wrong. He said the fairgrounds might still be in play.
Okay.
So
that would make more sense.
Make
even
more sense. So that's something to consider, right? But, look, man, I think you brought it up yesterday. Like, are we getting this wrong?
Yeah, did we go too hard?
Are we the principal Skinner? Like, is it the kids that are out of touch? No, am I out of touch? No, the kids are wrong. So, hey, man, we get it. Sometimes we might not read the situation right. But yesterday, I got some more feedback, and I think I finally tapped into what exactly is going on. I think people, they love the idea, and they want to be gassed up about it. Totally get that.
Sure.
But that's never been my job, or your job.
Right.
What we do is try to, and I think our strength, Joe, is to give context as to why things are the way that they are in this market. All right. Like, shout out to the life coach. But, 3 years ago when we were workshopping what this show was going to be, what did the life coach say? Insiders, right? People who've been here for a long time, making understand like the intricacies of why the rivalries are what they are. And when you kind of build up those conversations over time, you come from a more informed place as to why things are the way they are now, or why it's difficult to get it to one place, and why I welcome guys like Tom Dundon to drag this market into a modern era and bring more sports, because that's good business for us. But I got an email from Matthew, one of our listeners, and he says, love the show. Conversation with Luke on Major League Baseball in Raleigh was interesting, but seemed super negative, almost condescending at the idea of Major League Baseball in this area. I'll grant you that, and I think that's born out of years and years and years of doing this, and years of hearing about baseball in this market, all the way back to, by the way, like the Minnesota Twins possibly relocating to Greensboro.
Early 90s.
Yeah, this is a long marinating conversation. And when you hear them and you pop up, and what was your point? Like, how many of these other professional leagues have tried to pop up and they've gone away?
Well, the mistake that the people make from the outside is thinking that NC State, North Carolina, and Duke aren't professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
They are. Also, the mistake that people make, and maybe don't realize it until they get here.
Yeah.
We're all on an academic calendar here.
It's funny you bring it up that way, because I remember talking to salespeople. It was, yeah, man, once Memorial Day hits, good luck getting somebody on the phone.
Yep. We run hot from September to the end of May. We run hot during the school year. That's when our sports are. And Tom Dundon has found out, like, hey, man, even the Canes, you got to get to your neck of the calendar for it to work. And that's usually after the NCAA tournament. And to his credit, they've done such a great job of building a consistent winner. They've been able to grab more attention. But that's still during the school year. I think the summers, our mentality as a society here is we're off.
Yeah.
Even think about the traffic patterns in the summer. Even if you're not involved in school, think about, during the school year in the hospital industry, which is probably the number one business actually in the triangle. The hospitals are going to ebb and flow when schools are in session, when their traffic is at its highest. So I think as a general rule, we are on an academic calendar. That would be a huge challenge for anyone. And it's a bonus for them that they have done and involved. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's number one starting point. I kind of hesitate to do this, but when you look, my friend JC Zembel has shown this to me before, and Twitter's not like the biggest gauge of interest in the history of the world. But if you had like this giant groundswell, how many Twitter followers do you think you should have?
Who, me?
No, Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball?
The MLB
I don't know.
The MLB Raleigh. The last time I looked, I think they had 5,000 followers.
Okay.
That's not a groundswell.
No, it's not.
That's not like, hey, whoa, look what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like, you got to have big numbers. You got to pop. And I appreciate what they're trying to do, but I'm not sure it's I'm just not sure how they get there from here. I also not sure what they're going, like Tom Dundon's not going to be like, hey guys, great job with the logo. Hey guys, great job organizing this. The first thing they're going to do is what the Washington Commanders did and said, hey, yeah, cool. You copyrighted that. Okay, we're going to do something else.
Yeah, right.
And then it's not like you're going to become the coach or the GM or the president of the team.
I want to get to Major League Base, the MLB Raleigh guys in a second, because I will admit that they bothered me yesterday.
Okay.
I'll straight up admit
and I don't know them. I don't know them at all.
Well,
and I'm not trying to begrudge.
I'll get to that in a
if
second.
they want to have a dream, have a dream.
I want to get to that in a second, because let's talk about those realities. You talk about the realities of the schedule, so to speak, the
calendar,
the ebb and flow of this area and how it works. Not to say that you can't change those behaviors over time, but that's going to take a lot of behavioral change. Okay. People keep pointing out to me market size. Yeah, continues to grow. Population. Well, look at Milwaukee versus here. Look, man, Milwaukee's advantage over Raleigh in these situations, or a lot of these Major League Baseball teams that people like to point out and say, well, their attendance sucks, or their market
Tampa,
size.
sure. St. Pete.
Their market size is not our market size. Places like Milwaukee, they have legacy over Raleigh, man. And what do you always like to say about baseball? It's the world's biggest niche sport.
They just happen to have big niches.
It's a sport that's a niche that's in the biggest cities in the country, and these are legacy cities from back in the day. So there's this head start, right? Not to say that you can't carve out something new, but Major League Baseball seems interested in carving out new in brand cities like a Vegas, right? Everybody's fascinated by Vegas.
Yeah,
Nashville's hot right now.
Nashville will definitely get one of the teams.
Yes. So, but you know what Nashville has that Raleigh doesn't? Big corporate support. All right. And I think that's the thing that I will continue to push back on as a reality of this area. There's not a lot of corporate headquarters here. And if they are corporate headquarters, they're not of the market cap size necessary to keep Major League Baseball happy. If we're talking MLS, totally different conversation. But Major League Baseball is in the business of making billions of dollars. And you're going to need corporate support at that level to make it work. And that's the one thing Raleigh has going against it. One of the biggest companies in this area doesn't give a shit about sports, by the way.
Does not.
So that's kind of a problem.
Hey, SAS, they just put a brand new math building on NC State's campus.
Yeah, man.
That's what they care about.
That's what Jim Goodnight cares about. All right.
Quite frankly.
And good for them. I'm not, by the way, I'm not begrudging
just
SAS.
taking care of the Umstead and taking care of the things that they care about. That's their thing.
I'm not begrudging
Carey
that, right?
Academy, man, is like the best school going. Are you kidding?
And a lot of my skepticism, or not skepticism, but honestly talking about this situation comes from when MLS, there was a push for MLS. They had a big problem in that Malik is a millionaire, not a billionaire. David Tepper's a billionaire, and he's willing to overspend for an entry fee for the Ponzi scheme. All right. But in my conversations with people appreciated the dream, the vision, let's do downtown South. But the one consistent worry was enough corporate support.
Right.
And I think people are way too dismissive of the college aspects here. And that, yes, you can point out to me that college athletics does not have the same pull in this market that it used to because of transplants. But don't tell that to corporations that do advertising with these universities that bring 50,000 people for a football game, 18,000 people for a basketball game, or 8,000 at Duke or whatever. Duke's a national brand, so they're going to get national buys. Those are real competitive factors that even the Carolina Hurricanes have to navigate. All right. Now, the Hurricanes under Dundon would obviously welcome a Major League Baseball team. But the corporate aspect of this is a real deal. And I've talked to people who are in charge of corporate giving, and they find themselves strained with what they have here based on the level of company they're working for. So yes, Apple's on the way, but how big of that Apple presence is going to be here? Facebook says they want to open something up here. Cool. Amazon has a presence here. I get all that stuff. But you notice that they're not the main headquarters.
Right.
It's ancillary stuff. And while that helps, it'll certainly help the Canes. It'll certainly help the universities. Is it enough? We're talking about stuff that's 10 to 15, 20 years down the line. Now, if you want to dunk on me in 20 years when Major League Baseball finally comes to Raleigh, I would simply point out it only took 60 to get here.
Don't know my chances of being here.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But back to
you will be. But back
to the Major League Baseball, the MLB Raleigh guys. So yesterday, as I'm, going back and forth and whatnot, I think you tell me if I'm full of shit.
Okay.
Typically, when it comes to social media interactions, it takes a lot for me to be like, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I got a pretty thick skin. But the one thing that will consistently get me and bother me is when you're not being completely upfront about interactions or the past. And that's what bothered
me.
Forgetting stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably what bothered me with MLB Raleigh when one of our listeners said, hey, thoughts on this conversation? And the response was pretty simple. We want sports writers, hosts to want sports. Come on, guys.
Right.
Come on. Right. Like, look, I don't want sport. Why am I doing this?
Right.
Because I'm trying to get sports out of here. It's like, is that what you're getting at here? We want sports. I don't want sports. You think I'm stupid? Yeah, I get that I've built up a reputation of not being a baseball guy, but I'm also not stupid. I would absolutely love Major League Baseball to fill summer content. And Joe would hate it because that means we keep doing 4 shows a week.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. So I just responded, really? And it's like, so Major League, the guys at MLB Raleigh continue. This has been and is going to be a huge effort. The ownership, money aspect, number one. Community support will always play larger roles as well. I think it's 100% fair to point out the reasons you're skeptical, but this is a brand new idea to most people. It's not, by the way. It's not a new idea, as we illustrated earlier. And this idea that it's going to take a huge effort as community support, sometimes you're given sports teams without it. The Carolina Hurricanes were brought here.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yep.
The Carolina Hurricanes were brought here. What was the reaction when the Carolina Hurricanes were brought here?
Shrug.
Huge shoulder shrug. People
shrug.
telling you, like, nobody was demanding hockey. All right. So that's not true either. Somewhere, an executive looks at an area and says, we want to be there. We see the growth potential there.
Peter Carmanos definitely looked at the demographics and the median income and said, okay,
that's not because
I can make this work.
It wasn't
and
because
it's a new arena.
It wasn't because there was an NHL Raleigh, well, I guess back in the early 90s, some BBS dial-up system that people were going on a message board to talk about. That didn't exist.
Right.
We were foisted upon when it comes to hockey. Now, some of us, like me, welcomed it. Who doesn't want? I love hockey, right? And we to this day, this is a team that's won a Stanley Cup, Joe. They've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals this past year. They're running hot with Rod Brindamore, and I still get dudes that are like, who cares about hockey? We got state dudes that want them out of that building still.
Right.
Okay? So don't give me this community support shit, because it's not about that. It's about executives looking at a market and going, does it check off a bunch of boxes? And unfortunately, Raleigh does not check off a lot of boxes. And it's okay to say. I'm not, because that's the thing. It's like we've spent 4 years showcasing real public data on why it's possible and comparisons of it happening in similar markets. So when we hear segments where the majority of the time is taken up by reasons it can't work, it makes us scratch our heads. It shouldn't. These are honest conversations, not gassing people up. What MLB Raleigh is asking for is PR, which I'll close on this. I've given you PR. Like, oh, we'd love to come on the show.
Yeah.
No. First off, no, because you came out of talking out your neck. Well, we want guys that want sports. No. Number one. Number two, I have given you PR. Joe, what am I wearing? What am I wearing?
Baseball trophy.
You can't buy this shirt anymore. You know why? Because it was a one-off when they partnered up with Trophy and they did a beer for it, okay?
Right.
To get on the map. I pointed out that they've raised money for the Boys and Girls Club. I think $25,000 most recently, which is awesome, trying to restore old baseball fields and things like that. I've given you PR. When people were making fun of the movement, okay, what did I do?
Mm-hmm.
I put you on TV.
Right.
All right. When I had Adam Gold roll his eyes at this entire process, I brought you on the radio. So don't come at me acting like, oh, we just need guys to support this. I have supported you. I'm just sorry that I'm bringing up realities of the situation. Shit, man. I rock an MLB Raleigh shirt like once a week on this damn podcast, y'all.
Right.
Like when we did the lunch video for Downtown Raleigh, 2 of the hats that I wore were Major League Baseball Raleigh hats. The Raleigh Grays and then the R one that you see at a bunch of different places. So y'all, come on now. There's one thing that will really bother me, as you can see, is when you act as though, I don't know, for clicks, to seem cool with people that I haven't helped.
Right.
So, like, nah, guys, that ain't the move. That's just not the move. And we try to be positive vibes only.
Say that's we can't go out like
but that's
that.
not positive.
We have the
vibes.
Goji Golf Classic tomorrow.
All right. Okay.
It's gonna be fun.
Tell you what,
I'm gonna have you tee off with a putter.
You want to?
That feels like something you would do.
I would absolutely do that.
Okay.
Do you want to cleanse the timeline,
Please.
You know what I love?
I do not.
I love otters, man.
Okay.
You know what? There's otters.
Otters?
Otters. I love otters. They're like so fucking adorable.
Okay.
Did you know that the art museum, the little pond there at the art museum, there's
Are
otters?
they adorable or are they vicious on the side?
Well, if you fuck with them, yeah.
Okay.
So tell you what, how about this? You want to look at otters playing a piano?
Yes.
Okay, this is how we're going to
piano.
This is how we're going to cleanse the timeline. I love this Twitter account, by the way. In Otter News, dude, it's one of my favorite Twitter timelines. So it really cleanses the timeline, dude.
It's impressive.
Who doesn't love otters? Now we're positive again.
There we go. That's how you go home. That's how you go into the OG Golf Classic.
Let's go. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.